Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is 4-5-HW1, angle, side, and angle video notes here to help you out. The assignment is to state if the two triangles are congruent. If they are, state how you know. And we're just focusing on these two here, angle, side, and angle. So at number 1 here, state if the two triangles are congruent. If they are, state how you know. So one of the things I told you in class is when the two triangles, where their points or two triangle points are still sharing the same vertex, as you see right in here, that you need to make two more congruent angles here. That's because you have vertical angles that we practiced on in the last unit. So anytime you have two crossing lines or two angles or two triangles touching, sharing the same vertex, you make a extra set of vertical angles or congruent angles. Then the next step in figuring out if these two triangles are congruent or if they're the same is that you have to look at each triangle. So I'm first going to look at the triangle up here. I see that I have an angle, and a side in order. So I'm going to write A, S for angle, side. Now look at the guy down here, the next triangle. We also have an angle, and a side in that order. Since both of them are angle, side, I know my answer is angle, side. So 1 is B on your homework. Let's look at the next one. Number 2, state if the two triangles are congruent. If they are, state how you know. So at number 2 here, we have this angle and this angle match. This angle and this angle match. The two triangles are sharing the same line. Turns out that line is exactly the same as itself, so we could put a little mark or a little tick there. Let's look at the top triangle. We have an angle, a side, and an angle. So that's A, S, A. And on the bottom it's ASA also. Since both triangles are ASA, or angle, side, angle, the two triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle. Next up is number 3. Two triangles are separated, so we don't have to make any extra ticks. We only make those ticks when the triangles are touching each other. So in problem number 3, we have an angle, and a side. So that's A, S. This is also an angle, and a side. But we also have to be aware of what side is the congruent. So this double congruency line is next to the double angle, and this double congruency is next to the angle. So it turns out these two triangles are congruent by angle, side. It meets both those little conditions that we wrote about in our notebook. Number 4, these two triangles are sharing the same little vertex, but they don't have any lines in common, so we put an angle there. We have an angle, and an angle, so it's A. That's also angle. And as we talked about, angle is not a combination that we could prove that two triangles are congruent. So these are not congruent for number 4. Number 5 will be the last one we'll look at. These two triangles are sharing the same side, so we put an extra set of ticks there to identify that itself is in fact congruent with itself. Our top triangle here is a side, angle, side. So we write SAS. The triangle down here is a side, angle. Since these two do not match, that means these triangles are not congruent. Actually, let's do one more. Number 6 here. These two sides are congruent. These two sides are congruent. They're not touching, so we can't put any extra information in. We just have a side. There's no third side. We can't conclude anything about the last side because they're not sharing it. So number 6 is not congruent. Alright, hopefully this video helps you guys a little bit. If you have any questions, come to Extra Help. I'll be happy to help you out. As also, if you have any questions during the class, please ask me during class. I'll be happy to help you too. Alright, have yourself a good night. Make sure you complete the rest of your homework there and submit it here on Google Forms. Alright, have yourself a good night.